Hey everyone, I'm Olivia. I'm 17, top of my class, and totally obsessed with art and history. My room? Basically a museum of Roman architecture posters and Renaissance paintings. Yeah, I'm that kid. Olivia, dinner's ready. Mom's voice echoed from downstairs. I sighed, reluctantly setting aside my sketchbook. Another family dinner. Another opportunity to feel like the invisible child. As I entered the dining room, my sister Megan was already there, phone glued to her hand, probably texting one of her latest boyfriends. How was your day, Megan? Mom asked, as if I didn't exist. Boring. Mr. Johnson gave me detention again. He's the worst, Megan complained. Dad jumped in. Don't worry, sweetie, we'll talk to the principal about that teacher. I had to bite back an eye roll. Megan skips class, lands in detention, and somehow it's the teacher's fault? Typical. And how about you, Olivia? Anything exciting happened today? Grandpa asked, winking at me. Finally, someone remembered I was here. Actually, yeah, I began, smiling. I got an A on my Italian test. That's nice, dear, Mom cut in, barely acknowledging me before turning right back to Megan. So, about your cheerleading competition this weekend. And just like that, I was invisible again, but it was okay. I still had my grandparents, they got me. Later that night, I was sitting in my room, counting my Rome fund jar, just $200 more. I whispered, I'm so close. A soft knock interrupted my thoughts. Grandma peeked her head in. Come in, I called, quickly tucking the jar away. Grandma entered, a gentle smile on her face. Olivia, sweetheart, your grandpa and I have something for you. My heart pounded in my chest. Could it be? No way. Grandpa appeared, holding an envelope. We know how hard you've been working and how much you love Italy, he said, handing it to me. My hands shook as I opened it, and when I saw what was inside, I nearly fainted. 2 tickets to Rome. Oh my God, is this real? Am I dreaming? Grandma laughed softly. It's very real, dear, you've earned it. I jumped up, hugging them both. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't believe it. Of course, right on cue, Megan stormed in. What's all the excitement about? I couldn't contain my joy. Grandma and Grandpa got me tickets to Rome, for graduation. Megan's face twisted. What? That's not fair. I'm the one who needs a vacation after all the stress I've been under. But for once, I didn't let her negativity affect me. I have so much planning to do. There's so much to see. I babbled excitedly, completely ignoring Megan's sulking. My parents stood in the doorway, their expressions less than thrilled, but honestly, I didn't care. For the first time, something incredible was happening to me, and nothing could ruin it. The next morning, I woke up with the tickets safely tucked under my pillow. As I got ready for school, I couldn't stop smiling. Olivia, come downstairs, please, Mom called, her tone a little too serious. I rushed down, expecting to talk about my trip plans. Instead, I found my family sitting in the living room, all with grim expressions. What's going on? I asked, my excitement fading. Dad cleared his throat. We've been thinking about the Rome tickets. I beamed. Yeah, isn't it awesome? I can't wait to. We think it would be better if Megan went instead. Mom cut me off. My world came to a grinding halt. What? Megan's been under a lot of stress, Dad said, as if that made it okay. She could really use this trip. I turned to my grandparents, desperate for support. Their shocked expressions matched my own. But those were my tickets, I protested. Grandma and Grandpa gave them to me. Megan smirked. Don't be selfish, Olivia, I need this more than you. Grandpa finally spoke up, his voice stern. That's not fair. We gave those tickets to Olivia as a reward for her hard work. Mom sighed, clearly exasperated. Dad, you don't understand. Megan's struggling. This trip could really help her. And what about Olivia? Grandma retorted. What about her dreams? Dad waved it off. She'll be fine. Olivia's always fine. The room erupted into a full-blown argument, voices rising and accusations flying. I just stood there, numb, watching my dream fall apart in front of me. Fine, I whispered, barely able to speak. Take the stupid tickets. I spun around and bolted upstairs, slamming the door behind me. Tears burned in my eyes as I collapsed onto my bed. How could they do this to me? The days that followed blurred together. I dragged myself through school, dodged family dinners, and stayed locked in my room, lost in my thoughts. One afternoon, while mindlessly scrolling on my phone, I overheard a conversation between my parents from their bedroom. "We can't keep doing this, John," Mom said, her voice tense. "The credit cards are maxed out. The bank's breathing down our necks about the mortgage." "I know," Dad replied, "but we can't let Megan's mistakes destroy her future." My ears perked up. Mistakes? What mistakes? "Maybe we dip into Olivia's college fund again." I gasped, my hand flying to my mouth. My college fund? They've been using my money? Suddenly, it all made sense. The new car Megan got, the lavish cheerleading camps, her endless shopping sprees. I felt sick. They'd been stealing from me to cover for Megan's screw-ups. That night, I tossed and turned, my mind racing. How long had this been going on? How much of my money had they drained? And, most importantly, what was I going to do about it? Lying there in the dark, I started to form a plan. If they thought they could walk all over me, they were wrong. "Two can play at this game," I muttered under my breath. The next morning, I put on a cheerful face and sat down for breakfast. Megan was chattering away about her upcoming Rome trip. "I'm thinking of extending my stay," she bragged. "Maybe swing by Paris while I'm at it." Mom and Dad exchanged nervous looks, but I kept quiet, storing the information away. As I headed out for school, I made a detour. It was time to visit the bank and get some answers about my accounts. The game was on, and this time, I was playing to win. The trip to the bank was eye-opening, to say the least. My college fund had been bled dry. It was time to bring in reinforcements. "Jake, I need your help," I said, cornering my best friend at his locker. He looked up, concerned. "What's going on, Liv? You look like you've seen a ghost." I leaned in, lowering my voice. "Jake, I need your help. I want you to hack into my parents' financial records." Jake's eyes widened, taken aback. "Whoa, that's serious. What's going on?" I didn't hold back, telling him everything. The Rome tickets, the conversation I overheard, the missing college fund. The more I talked, the darker Jake's expression grew. After a long pause, he finally said, "All right, I'm in. Meet me in the library after school. We'll get to the bottom of this." For the next week, Jake and I spent every spare moment poring over my family's finances. Each new discovery was worse than the last. "Look at this." Jake pointed to his laptop screen, scrolling through the data. "Your dad's been siphoning money from the family business for years." I leaned closer, studying the numbers. "But where's it all going?" Jake opened another tab and traced the transactions. Most of it's covering Megan's expenses, unpaid credit cards, car payments, even bail money. Bail money? My heart sank. What's she gotten into? As we continued digging, the situation became clearer, and far more grim. My dad had been cooking the books, taking out questionable loans, and even getting involved in shady side businesses to fund Megan's lifestyle and cover the family's growing debt. "This is a mess," I whispered, running my hands through my hair. "What am I supposed to do with this?" Jake looked at me, his expression serious. "You know what you have to do, Liv." I didn't know, but the idea of turning my parents in felt like a punch to the gut. That night, I barely slept, tossing and turning as I weighed my options. On one hand, they were my family. On the other, they'd stolen from me, lied to me, and broken the law. By morning, I knew what had to be done. The first step was to confront my grandparents. I went to them, laid out everything Jake and I had uncovered. "I can't believe this," Grandma whispered, tears welling in her eyes. "How could they do this to you?" Grandpa's expression was harder, his lips pressed into a thin line. "What do you need from us, Olivia?" "Your support," I said, "and possibly a place to stay when things go down." They didn't hesitate to agree. With them on my side, I turned to someone else I trusted, Ms. Rodriguez, my favorite teacher. She had always believed in me, and I needed an adult outside of the family to help me navigate this. "This is very serious, Olivia," she said after I explained everything. "Are you absolutely sure you want to go through with this?" I nodded firmly. "I have to, for my own future, and for Megan too. This can't continue." Ms. Rodriguez sighed. "All right, I'll help however I can." With my allies in place, Jake and I began planning our next move. "We need solid evidence," Jake said, scribbling notes in his notebook, "something that will be undeniable." I thought for a moment. The family reunion next month. Dad's business partners will be there. Everyone will. Jake's eyes lit up. "Perfect. We can set up hidden cameras. Maybe even catch them talking about the shady deals. If we time it right, they'll incriminate themselves." As we worked through the details, a mix of adrenaline and dread swirled in my gut. This was really happening, and there was no turning back now. Are you all right? Jake asked, his voice soft with concern as he caught my tense expression. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of what was about to unfold. Yeah, it's just, once we do this, there's no going back, everything will change. Jake gave my hand a reassuring squeeze. Sometimes change is the only way forward. You've got this, Liv. I nodded, steadying myself. The countdown to the family reunion, and the most pivotal moment of my life, had officially begun. The day arrived, and my heart pounded in my chest. Jake and I had spent weeks preparing for this, laying the groundwork and ensuring that every hidden camera was set. There was no room for error. As relatives and Dad's business partners streamed into the house, I forced a smile. Hey, Uncle Bob, how's the golf game going? I asked, though my mind was elsewhere, laser-focused on what was about to happen. In the living room, Megan was in full bragging mode, holding everyone's attention as she went on and on about her Rome trip. It's going to be incredible. I might stay a whole month, she gushed, completely oblivious to the storm that was about to hit. I glanced at Mom and Dad, noting the uneasy looks they exchanged. It was time. I cleared my throat and raised my glass. I'd like to make a toast, to family and to the truth. As I spoke, I caught Jake's eye. He gave a small nod and hit play on his laptop. The TV screen flickered to life, displaying incriminating financial records and snippets of recorded conversations. Dad's face drained of all color. What is this? He stammered, eyes wide with panic. This, I said, my voice steady though my hands trembled, is the truth about where all of our family's money has been going. The room erupted. Dad's business partners started shouting, demanding answers, while Aunt Susan broke down in tears. Megan, meanwhile, was spiraling into a full-blown meltdown. You can't do this to me, she shrieked. How am I supposed to pay for my DUI lawyer now? Suddenly, the room fell into a stunned silence. DUI? Mom turned to Megan, her voice sharp with shock. What do you mean, DUI? Megan's eyes widened in horror, realizing she'd just outed herself. I mean, it's not like that, she stammered, but it was too late. The truth had unraveled, and with every word, the weight of her actions crushed any hope of a cover-up. She admitted to everything, the drunk driving, the shoplifting, the credit card fraud. Each confession landed like a hammer, and with each one, Mom and Dad seemed to age 10 years in mere moments. Then, faintly at first, the sound of sirens echoed in the distance. Ms. Rodriguez had come through, tipping off the authorities right on cue. As police officers filed into the room, reading charges and placing handcuffs on both Dad and Megan, I felt a strange mix of relief and sorrow. This was justice, but it also marked the end of the family I had once known. Grandpa wrapped his arm around me, his voice soft but proud. You did the right thing, Olivia. We're so proud of you. The months that followed were a blur of courtrooms and legal battles. Dad and Megan both faced serious charges, while Mom was given probation for her lesser involvement. Through it all, my grandparents were my anchor, guiding me through the chaos. One evening, as we sat together after another long day, Grandma placed her hand gently on mine. Olivia, she began, her voice warm and full of love. How would you feel about us becoming your legal guardians? I pulled Grandma into a tight embrace, tears welling in my eyes. I'd love that. As things began to settle, an unexpected turn of events unfolded. The judge ruled that all the stolen funds, including my college fund, be returned, and the Rome tickets, they were mine once again. So that summer, instead of dwelling on what I'd lost, I found myself wandering the Roman Forum with my grandparents, savoring gelato. To new beginnings, Grandpa said, lifting his cone in a toast. To justice and gelato, I replied with a wide grin. A few years have passed, and my life has transformed significantly. I'm now in my junior year at a leading art school, interning at a renowned gallery, and preparing for my first solo exhibition next month. Meanwhile, Dad is serving his sentence, Mom is working a minimum wage job, and Megan, last I heard, is grappling with community college, finally confronting the fallout from her actions. As for me, I'm planning my next adventure, a trip to Italy to pursue my master's in Florence. Sometimes, losing one dream can lead to an even greater opportunity. So, that's my story. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't without pain, but standing up for yourself can lead to powerful, transformative change. I'd love to hear from you. If you were in Olivia's position, would you have exposed your family's crimes, knowing it could tear them apart and bring legal consequences? Or would you have stayed silent to protect them, even if it meant sacrificing your own future? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective could offer valuable insight to others facing similar ethical dilemmas. If this story of justice and personal triumph inspired you, don't forget to hit that like button. For more stories of revenge and personal victories, subscribe to our channel.